Hello and happy Mother's Day to all of you that are watching live and in replay today. We are celebrating mothers. This is the Let's Talk the Fab Show. My name is Tamara Hunter and I am this week's host. And without further ado, we have a show that's ready for all of you. You in the audience, and you are very important. We want you to be adding your comments, your stories, your thoughts, and that much more. So without further ado, hey, what do you think? Let's talk. We're going to go around what I would call the room. Anybody that knows me knows that I see it as an open house. We have an open house today in this show, and we have our guests that are showing up, you at home and those online and on camera. And I would like to be able to go around right now, introduce you to our amazing panelists, and then we're going to dive into today's show. I'm going to start with you, Christine, and then go around. Christine, why don't you tell us, where are you today?
I am in Saxbahaw, North Carolina.
Excellent, excellent. Lisa Brown.
I am in Park City, Kansas.
Park City. I always think you're going to say Utah, but you know, that's okay. Kansas works. Robyn. Guys, listen to Robyn. Okay, Robyn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robyn, and I'm from Queensland, Australia.
Yes. And what time is it there right now?
It's right on 5 o'clock in the morning.
Monday morning, right?
Monday. Yep. Monday morning.
Excellent. And Rebecca, why don't you introduce yourself and Luna?
I'm Rebecca and Luna, and we are from Anaheim, California.
My old stomping grounds. Excellent, excellent. Okay, we're going to dive right in. Today's a very special show. And, we always ask that you have a pen and paper and sometimes even warn you that if you don't have a box of Kleenex, you may want to go grab one because, there might be a little bit of those moments. As always, we have a contributor, one of our guests, or one of our hosts of the show, and does so much for us, Barbara Beckley, and she creates these amazing videos, and she is going to kick off today's show with one of the videos she created for us. Thank you, Barbara Beckley, for that. Okay, so you guys ready? We're going to have some fun. So get your pen and your paper out because I'm going to ask a couple of questions or a few questions. And I want you to figure out, before we go into the stories today, who is who? Okay, we may already have kind of given a clue for one, but we have a first time, a mother sharing her Mother's Day for the very first time. We've got a mother of a teenager, wink, wink. Okay, we have a mother of 7 and a mother of 4. Let's put it that way too. Throw in that. And then we have a mother of a 4-legged individual. They're important too. So I want you to start thinking, who is who? And we're going to go through this. And we have some video as we always do. And we're going to start right now with a video and then start into the stories. So who is celebrating Mother's Day for the very first time? Who do you think it is? Okay, might surprise you. Here we go.
Host Kim O'Neill, and today we have a very heartwarming episode for you. We are going to be talking about coming home sharing a very special adoption story. How heartwarming I found their story to be. Christine, will you tell us how did this first come together for you? Because when we talk about adoption, we know we're referring to the past, but it's something that resurfaces in the present.
I was just checking my phone and I saw this text, something like, "Hi, this is Nick." And then I saw something highlighted about like adoption.com. And I was like, "What?" And I looked a little closer and this is odd. Initially I thought this is a scam.
Sunshine. So Christine, you call him your sunshine, S-O-N.
Yes. Well, when we reconnected and I shared on my post that I've been very, very private about my birth motherhood up until coming out recently about it. Look at the light in his eyes. He's so bright. Look at that smile lighting up everything was about lightness and brightness and whatever. And so I didn't consciously say, let me find a word to represent this. It just, at some point when I texted him, I said sunshine and I used S-O-N instead of S-U-N. And it just, for me, it felt right. Nick says, I surprised you twice. And so when we were together the next evening, and it was just clickety, 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 click, like just like so much alike. And but we're winding up the night, and he said, Mama, and I said, or Mom, he said, and I was like my heart just like flip flopped, and I said, and I caught my breath, and I said, okay. And my heart flipped again. And I said, you know what, Nick? I said, I think it's really important that you call me Mom. I've just loved it ever since.
Wow, wow, wow. So who guessed it right? Who guessed it right? We'd love to know. Oh, yes. And Purple Hearts. We want to recognize the Purple Hearts today, as every week we do. I agree with you. Thank you very much, Barbara. And thank you for recognizing them. So Christine, tell us a little bit more. How is today feeling for you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel a little bit like it is like the first day of vacation combined with my birthday. It's been very exciting. Friends are texting me, happy first Mother's Day, and yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
Yes, awesome and great. And when I looked at your pictures, tell us, okay, so he texts you, you think it might be a scam. I love that too. I'm like, okay, I can't edit that out. That is like so perfect, because how many of us get those texts sometimes like, yeah, right. Now what do you want to sell me? What's up here? And so you get this, and then it sounds like pretty darn close afterwards you two met. Am I hearing that right?
Yes. He decided to look for me, found me the same day, and texted and called and left a message the same day. And we met the very next night because ... It ends up he only lives an hour from me.
And in the original show, which you guys can go and on demand watch the show, Kim was that week's host, Kim O'Neill, and want to recognize her amazing host. And she's the one that was so inspired by your story. She dedicated the full show to your story, so you can find out much more about the story. Go to that show. Yet, so. It didn't start off that way, though. You guys, you were somewhere else when he was born. You were, it wasn't like he was around the corner from you all these years, right?
Correct. So yes, when it was an unplanned pregnancy, and I decided on adoption. I was living in Baltimore, Maryland at the time, and I was very solid and sure in my decision. 33 years later, I get this text from him. So, I've been a mom for, 8 months now. And I have moved, for Kim's show, I counted it. I think I moved something like a dozen times in those 33 years. So I was just all over the place, following my, my work, my heart, my leadings. And so it's especially interesting that I landed in a place that was only an hour from where he's lived essentially his whole life.
Congratulations and happy
That's
Mother's
beautiful.
Day to
Thank
you.
you.
Would anybody like to say anything, right now to this? Because I mean, what an honor to have you on, and thank you for agreeing to be with us to celebrate this special day. I'm sure that there's many in the audience right now that are like, wow, what would I do? What would I do if I had that text, and how would I feel? And what an inspiring story you have, and the fact that you've been so open and honest with it, and coming out. My heart just is full. Anybody like to say anything before we go on to our next story?
Well, I think that's beautiful, because I have friends that have similar stories, and the outcome has been just as special and just as heartwarming as yours, Christine. And I just am so thrilled for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We kind of gave it away. However, if you weren't here at the very beginning, you may not know yet. Okay, so we now know who is the one that this is their very first Mother's Day. Now, looking at the group, who is the mother of a teenager? We're going to share a video right now, a very special video, and here we go.
Thank you for choosing me. You are a blessing and miracle from God. After being told for 5 years I couldn't have children, you honor me daily when you call me Mom. You have chosen me to guide you in your life, and at the same time you teach me how to be a better mother and spiritual human being. You are a true blessing not only for me, but also for my sister, your Nina, godmother, when she was alive. You have the best of both of us, and our good looks also. I love you to the moon and back.
Oh, happy Mother's Day, Rebecca. And Rebecca, that was a very special something. Tell us about that video. Tell us a little bit about it. And hello, Luna. Or Lula. Lula. Yes. Okay,
The
Luna.
first thing she said is like, really, Mom, you want to make me cry? So a little bit about us. I was told for years that I couldn't have children. And so she was a blessing and miracle for me. I had her at the age of 36. And so she was my teenager. So most of my friends that I went to high school with, their children are already in college, and I have a teenager. So it's been fun. And she knows it. How do you feel about me choosing me as your mom? Because she mentioned it. She was like, I chose you, Mom. And I go, yes, you're right. You did choose me. How do you feel about that?
I feel happy, I guess, because a lot of people have a great mother. And I don't know.
And I think the hardest thing for us has been losing my sister. That was her godmother. And so she had her godmother for a good 13 years. That one picture that you see of her with the American stripe and they're at the park, that was her 13th birthday, and that was the last birthday she celebrated with my daughter. And so, and then after that is when she became ill and passed away from cancer. And so she's a reminder. She's the spitting image of my sister. She has her colored eyes, and so I always tell her that somehow I didn't lose my sister after all, you know, because she reminds me so much of her, you know, but she also has a lot of me. So my sister, like she said it the best, she got the best of both of us.
And how does it feel, Luna, to be here celebrating Mother's Day with your mother on air?
No, thank you.
Well, I see you as extremely brave and you know, bold, and thank you for being here, because you know I want to say, you know, a mother, you know, I said a mother of 7 and a mother of 4. I'll give it away right now because we don't have a video of mine, but I'm the mother of 4, and I have 1 daughter and 3 sons. And my 1 daughter, she was that one girl that always, you know, everybody wanted to take with, you know, because like she was the girl that would travel well or whatever, and she was always invited to come over to people's houses, and then she was going into teenhood, and she said, "Mom, I'll never be a yucky teenager." So then now she's got teenagers of her own, and she's like, "Okay, kids, don't be like me," because I told my mom I wasn't going to be a yucky teenager, and yet, you know, and then her brothers, they were like not. And so it's like, you know, I want to just say that there are those teenagers that are amazing, and you being here, Luna, I want to say you are one of those, and honoring your mother and her honoring you is such an amazing thing. And I've got Christine that wants to say something. And so did you want to say something? I saw you raising your hand.
Oh, this is a silent clap. So I just went. So thank you, Luna.
Yes. Yeah. Luna, like it's like the moon. Is that what? That's a beautiful name. Beautiful name for a beautiful young lady. And you know, thank you for agreeing to be here, Luna, because you know, how is it, what grade are you in this year?
7th.
So you're in junior high.
Uh-huh.
How is it with a lot of the other kids?
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Okay, let's just be real. And thank you for being real, because this is the Fabulous Show, and we do talk about real things here. And you know, having the relationship with your mother is such a treasure. And the fact that you've got this now as a memory for the rest of your life, I want to point that out and say thank you for being here. It means the world to me. I appreciate it, Luna.
If I could elaborate a little bit,
Sure.
What she means by that is it's hard for her to see so many of her classmates, other children that don't have that support that I give her. And that's what really sometimes brings her down. Like, what, Mom, why do my friends always say I'm so lucky to have you? And it kind of makes her sad, you know, it breaks my heart when she sees the differences. And so for her, it's hard to understand why all these kids are pretty much on their own. And I'm not saying all of them, but most of them in her school are. So.
Well, you two are an example of so many different things, and I want to recognize that. You know, never give up, and also life happens. I met you, Rebecca, and was touched by your story because you came into our community, into the Chemo Buddies for Life community. And Caroline Brown hosted a TGIF chat, and you came in and shared your story and your short story about your sister. And being a support person, you've supported our community now in ways professionally, and I appreciate that. And then your lovely, beautiful Luna came on and shared too. And I was so touched by your stories that I wanted you to be with us today and share with the world, because what takes place in our chat, stay in our chat, guys. That's a safe place. So we don't share things outside, except for just basic stuff. And so coming on publicly today I want to say thank you and recognize you both, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to say anything to the brave Luna and Rebecca before we go on to the next story? Okay, we'll go like this then. That's fine. We're going to go on to the next story, Luna. How does that sound?
Very good.
Okay, just for you. I love it. You're cool. You're cool. You are a cool kid. Teenager, young lady. Let's put it that way. There you go. Beautiful too. You were right, Rebecca, when you put that. Happy Mother's Day, Skip Thomas. Everybody be watching. We have something original from Skip, and you all know. Yeah. When I mentioned the tear, have your tissue box ready. Skip's stuff is just amazing, and he produced something special for us today, and you will want to stay tuned for that. We're going on to our next story. Okay, so yeah, I can't give it away. I'm not playing good host when it comes to game. I'm not a game host, I guess. Note to self, Tamara. That's okay though, because this is still fun. We have our next person at home with excellent mom and dad. Wonderful. And you guys are going to get more of that when you watch what's coming when he mentions mom and dad. Okay. Our next story is a video that is shared by our mother of 7. Here we go.
Being a mum to 7 beautiful children and now 4 gorgeous grandchildren has really been what shaped me. It's the lessons that I have learnt through being a mum, having to show up and love despite, surrendering our own needs at times and plans and desires for the sake of our children, where we really forge those paths forward, don't we, of that unconditional love that takes us through the storms of life, where, the example that Christ was to us of an unconditional Father, his love that wasn't subject to earning or proving our worth, that we just love despite. And I have just loved being a mum. I was a homeschooling mum. It has pushed me beyond my limits at times. It has given me the most amazing experience that I could never even describe. And it is not a gift that's given to everybody. So I'm incredibly privileged to have been a mum and to have had the gift of being present to my children through their young years, because perfection is so often what we seek, and yet our presence is what our children really need to be healthy and to grow and raise their own children in a healthy, emotional way.
Oh my, I just absolutely love your story, and you always have such a way with words and being able to share what it is that many of us feel. And you covered so much in less than 2 minutes that we could spend a whole hour plus diving deep into all of the different things that you shared, my dear. And here are the 7, right? Beautiful. And so you covered a lot. Let's dive into it now. You talk about the fact that, you were lucky, and here's your crew when they were younger. Adorable. And, they're always so cute when they're in those pictures and they're clean. And then they're either, you get them in the group setting and you get that picture, or they're asleep. And it's like, okay, they're so adorable. But then the rest of the time, it's like, it's life. And life can be like you shared. Let's dive a little bit into that, because I will tell you, I raised 5 there for a while. And Mother's Day I think a lot of people felt like me. There were many Mother's Days that I had a really hard time with Mother's Day because I was hard on myself. And I didn't always feel like I was the best mother, and that, like, kind of like, and in honor of my mom, I'm wearing polka dots, and I have some earrings on that she gave me. But, I tried to be a recovering type A plus personality. And so I would, and there were many of us that it's like Mother's Day, we can go down that list and we can say, what am I not doing right? What am I missing? But you, in this less than 2 minutes, you were able to cover so much. And I really want to hear from you now more and have a discussion with all of us. And I'd love to hear from those in the audience too. And what is it for you to be present as a homeschooling mom when they were so young, so many of them? And how many years apart were they all?
Well, I think it's about 14 years between the youngest and the oldest. So, yeah, some were a year apart, some were nearly 3, and most of them were around 22 months to 24. So it was a busy, full-on time. And yet I look back and I don't want to gloss it over because I know that I was often really tired. And yet I think I'm just so grateful for that time that we had together, the fun times. We'd read, chapter books together in bed, and we'd play games, and we'd go. Sometimes it would be like nothing as far as education as we see it, like behind bookwork, but we'd be out in the forests or walking. And I think, that is one thing that as a mother, to enjoy the moment and to have fun with your children and let go the things that really don't matter. And I had some really beautiful, wise woman that used to say, if it's not going to matter in 10 years, let it go, Robyn. And I was hard on myself. I look back now and I'm far more lenient and give myself a lot more grace now. Whereas I was looking to try to prove myself because I was the first of up to homeschool. Everybody thought it was quite weird. So I felt like I was in a goldfish bowl, everybody waiting to see cracks. And my background is in creativity and textile design. So I used to sew all the clothes, and they always used to look beautiful, and they played instruments and all of these things. And I often look back and I think, how did I do it? And I just poured my heart and soul. It was my mission at the time. And I do feel for a lot of mums these days having to wear so many hats, where we sacrificed one income and we never really went without, but we didn't have a lot of the luxuries that a lot just take for granted today. And I think that's what the children remember, the times where we sat around the table and we'd have devotions, and they'd play, we'd have story times. We'd have, times where we worked on projects and, just did life together, really. And I really look back and I would do it all again, despite the challenges, where I'd often ring my mum and say, Mum, you can have them all.
you were and there's your mother, right? And you call,
yes,
and then you would call her up and say, you can have them all.
Yeah, and she was the one that I could be really real with, in those moments where it's not easy. And I think that's where, being vulnerable and having those friendship groups where we can be really real. And I had some homeschooling mums. We'd go out about every 6 weeks, we'd go out for dinner together, and we'd just be real and share our struggles, pregnancies and morning sickness and children not sleeping. But you know what I tell people now, whatever you're going through, time passes, it will pass. And so don't get caught up so much in all the things that you wish it had been or what you thought it would be. Accept what is and do the best you can with what you have, because we often think the grass is greener on the other side, but these moments are precious and each child is so precious. And I think one of the things that I've learned so much in my journey of making mistakes and falling forward is to have this mentality of no blame or no condemnation, just to give that grace continually to our children, because we need it. Christ gave that to us and our children need it, because we're meaning-making machines, and so many children grow up feeling like they were never enough. And I know, even though my mum never felt like that, I often felt it. And, you know, what is it that creates these, I guess, blockages and struggles that we have as humans is what we've made things mean when we're young. So just to delight in our children, have fun, and give them grace and pour that unconditional love out, and it will pay off. Even though at times you feel like, what have I done wrong? I can see your mind coming back to those solid foundations that, you know, you instilled into them.
Wonderfully said. Would anybody like to piggyback? I'd love to hear from all of you too, because this is where I do believe in the show right now, that it's so important for mothers to understand some of the things that you said in your clip. I really keyed into the verbiage of, you know, and many are likening right now in the world that we are in a bit of a worldwide storm. And, you know, there's a lot going on. And mothers of all types. You don't have to have given birth to be a mother. You can be a father and be a mother. You can be a aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather. You can be, because it's that loving. And I love the fact that you brought up your belief system and that you referenced that Christ, you know, as a father and a father figure, and those that have those belief systems that can say, yes, our divine is an absolute unconditional love, and that can be passed through us to our children. And right now our children need it more than ever. Would anybody like to comment on that before we go on to our next story? I'd love to hear from anybody here on camera or even in our digital studio. Yes, Christine, please.
What really struck me was the comments that she made about no, I'm not going to get the words exactly right, but no judgment or no, you know, I call it self-punishment, because we tend to be the hardest on ourselves. So it's such an important thing to remember, to accept what is, as she mentioned, and to love on ourselves as we move through our own learning phases and stages of life. So that really stuck out to me.
Absolutely. Lisa, we haven't heard from you yet, because and I want to hear from you. We haven't shared your story yet. And yes, by default, the mother of the four-legged one, known as Bailey, also Bugsy, we'll be sharing her video here soon. But you know, what would you like to share? Because you've been through so much, my dear.
I don't know. I mean, I just think I love my mom so much. That when, I mean, she passed away on Christmas Day a few years ago. It was probably one of the hardest things that really I've ever really dealt with. And I just remember walking down the hall, and, you know, she said that she loved me. Well, of course, I know that you love me. And I remember going back and said, you taught me everything I knew in life, but the only thing you never taught me is how I'm going to live without you. And I think every day something comes across my mind that I think about that, or like, even when I was sick, I was like, well, what would my mom say? You know, sometimes I just talk to her and she's not here, but, you know, I feel like somehow she listens and hears me. And somehow whatever I need to do comes back around. And so somehow in the universe, I think she is there, just not in the physical being.
I'm going to share your video right now. And so everybody can see what we're talking about and a little bit more about Bugsy.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. You know, Mother's Day isn't just about the mothers. It's about the dog mothers, too, that have fur babies. And they take a lot of responsibility, too. You know, I lost my mom a few years back, and I happened to have been a Mother's Day baby. My birthday's on the 14th. And so I was a Mother's Day baby. So every once in a while it fell on Mother's Day, which was really nice. But my mom and I, what we used to do is that we used to go somewhere. And honest to goodness, it was always in New York City. We loved Broadway shows. We both loved the hustle and bustle. And it was just a couple days, you know, just a couple, 3 days. Leave on Thursday, come home on Sunday. And it was just so nice to get away. And those are memories that I really, really, really hold. And I take a lot of pride in taking care of him. You know, he became my service animal. And he's gotten me through some really rough times. But one person that has made my life so much better is Tamara. Tamara Hunter, I love you just like you're my mother, just like you're my big sister. We met in the middle of the night. Our friendship has been so many years strong. And it doesn't matter when I call you or when I text you, you're always there. And I just want you to know how important you have been into my life, into my journey, and how much I appreciate just you being you. And you are the best mom ever. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Yeah, when I was talking about tissue, she surprised the heck out of me when she sent that in. I didn't see it coming, and I want to say thank you for that. And you know, the love of a mother, sister, friend, father, you know, all we celebrate these special days, and it's all about love, right? And I want to say thank you for that, and happy birthday to you in 2 days.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But it's a Mother's Day show, and since you know it's kind of stays along with that theme, because I have a feeling your mother would say, like, yes, she's getting her birthday, you know, on a Mother's Day. And there's Bugsy.
Oh, cute.
You Ollie had to go outside. That's why I had to move, because he was going to start barking if I didn't take him out. So I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah. So you know, we have a video here. It's a challenge that Barbara made, but you know, one of the things that you had mentioned, and I thought I'm going to mention this during on air, and so there's record of it, is I have never been to New York. I've always wanted to go, and I love the theater. And I'm thinking, okay, I know that there's others too. So I'm putting my hand up saying, you know, we need to do a trip, a fab trip, a fabulous trip, and everybody meet together in New York, go have some fun. I think that would be spectacular. That one picture of the two of us in the car, that was when we were in Vegas together, and we have other plans for some other stuff. And Gloria, she's already in. Love to know who else is in. Let's make a count. So, you know, Lisa's all in too. Awesome, awesome. So I want to say thank you for that. And being the mom, you know, thank you for also representing the fact that our animals, and Nori's in too. Any other takers? We'd like to hear. Anybody else? Being the mom of those also with special needs, because Bugsy is a bit of a special needs. He takes care of you, but you also take care of him. You mentioned that, but he is a bit of a special needs, right?
Mm-hmm. He is. Yeah, he has dog dementia. He got it during COVID. And so he wanders all day, all night, and he sleeps all day. And in California, it was worse, I guess, because we were on the, a huge apartment. But now that we've come back to the Midwest, it's gotten a lot better, because now he goes out all the time. But, he did get dog dementia during COVID, and, he tore an ACL. But, I've had him. He just turned 19 years of age in March. And he came from a puppy mill when he was 3 months old. So I have had this dog really like a teenager my whole life. Yeah.
Well, I want to say and recognize too, because many of us, take care of those that out there as mothers. We may be taking also care of our our elderly parents. We may be, our children may have special needs. I want to recognize the fact that that there are those out there, and to stick with it, with the true love that you do. You are such an example to so many, inspire so many of us, and I want to recognize that and say thank you. Before we go on, I promised this special song, and also, get your tissues out, guys, because this is a beautiful song. Skip Thomas is amazing. He also goes by Poe, Steampunk Poe, and he created this for the show today, but there's more to it. Let's watch it and then go on.
It was May of 2020, and we were headed into Mother's Day. And it was in the early months of COVID. There was a lot of pain, a lot of isolation, and sometimes death. So during that time, our community, I learned a song that was very special for certain people in there, Tamara, her mother, and for many in our online community. It was called I Cross My Heart. Our love is unconditional. We knew it from the start. I see it in your eyes, you can feel it from my heart. I cross my heart and promise to give all I've got to give, make all your dreams come true. And then it was just over a year ago, I was all but certain we were going to lose our mom. She had an illness that went on for nearly 2 years, and she was isolated in ICU. She had COVID. We couldn't see her. And the doctors told our family that we've done all we can do, and now it's up to God and to her. Last year, what seemed to be her last Mother's Day, and we couldn't see her because of the isolation, COVID, I wrote a song, and the hospital staff held a phone to her ear so she could hear it. Without our mothers, what would we be? So much of life we would never see. It's never too late. All the memories to thank you for all you gave so selflessly. We never know when that time will come. We came so close to that today. And through the prayers of love, the grace of God, all our fears, they fade away. I sing a prayer of healing, a family hearts a bleeding. We shout to God, we need you now. In life you showed me, with God all I can be, 'cause I'm the one who holds the key. So I take pause this day, and I fold my hands. Thank God I pray, may I be the man that shines your light in all I do throughout my life, to honor you. I was young, you'd always be there. You never turned away. So thank you, Mom. I honor you this day. And now on this Mother's Day, 2024, with miracle after miracle, my mom's home, and she and my dad are about to celebrate their 70th wedding anniversary in just a couple weeks. So to all the mothers out there, we love you, we honor you, we cherish you. Happy Mother's Day. We honor you this day.
We honor all the mothers. What did you guys think?
Oh, it was beautiful, really beautiful. And just, you know, it took me back to my own mum, who did not live a long life, but went through those challenging times in hospital and with sickness. And what a privilege it was to be able to care for her and once again, you know, be there, that presence that we talk about with our children, that we can give our mothers as they, you know, are growing older.
And that's you there in the white dress, correct?
It was, yes. I was pregnant with my fourth son there, and my dad never got to see him because he actually was going through radiation at that time, and he lost his hair the very next day. And it was only about 6 weeks after this shot was taken that he passed away with a brain tumour. So, yes, it's like the reminder that time is fleeting, and to make the very best of the time we have with our children, our parents, because we never know what tomorrow will bring.
Yes, so true. And this is my mother, so, you know, I'm recognizing her too. She's gained her wings. Karen, love you and miss you. And, you know, so thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing with us, Skip, your talents. And I, you know, it's such a beautiful, it touches us to our very souls, I will say, when we can see such beauty and love coming from the children, our children of any age, for parents. And that's exactly what was just shared right now. And what generationally that then, because in that video, if you saw Skip's mom with the girl in the wedding dress, that's his daughter. And so when you look at the generations, you know, that love of today, when we honor our day, you know, we honor you this day on Mother's Day, that love, we talk about the frequency, it is generational. Yes. And each day, we can choose love. And I'd like to, you know, I have also, Barbara Beckley makes things fun. She keeps us on our toes. She gave us a bit of a challenge. So guys, you know, we're going to switch it up a bit as we go into the latter part of the show. And then I'm going to open it back up because I'm going to go back to back with a challenge. And then what is today? She always lets us know there's always a special day. You know, every day has a special something. And it really does go along with what was just shared in Skip's video. So let's do this. Get your pen and paper out, guys. Figure this out. Thank you, Barbara Beckley, for these. Did you know it was International Nurse Day? And I thought, how appropriate after that video that we saw. Each day we have a choice. Yes, love. We can choose love. And we have about 6 minutes left in the show. And I'd like to open it up to discussion because, as we've painted the pictures, we've told the stories. This is a special day for each woman on this panel, and it's a special day for all of you out there. I'd like to hear from each of you right now. If you took 30 seconds, a minute to share, what is it that you are feeling right now in your soul, your heart, that you would like to share with the world? What would that be? Who would like to start?
Well, I just thought when I was watching that is the power of love that surpasses all barriers. The love that we give, the love that we receive, that beautiful cycle of love that is acceptance and is unconditional. And I often look at people, young men, gorgeous young men that have got their little wizened up old grandmother under their arm and the love that they feel for them. And I just thought, what is it? And it always comes back to the power of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to share something. I have a 4-generation picture here. And that little lady with the silver hair right there, I used to go up on weekends to go spend time with my grandmother. And it was always so cute because she would call. And she was only one of the person that could get away with calling me Tammy. So she had called me at work. Is Tammy there? The receptionist would be, she sounds like a grandma, and I think she might mean you, Tamara. Is that your grandma? And and it was just that love. And so it transcends. Yeah. It transcends, and you can feel it, right? And so who else would like to share something right now? I'm going to pick someone. Okay, Rebecca.
I just want to say, as a mother of a teenager, I've been lucky with Luna. She's a sweet girl. She always listens. But I've also learned a lot from her. And I think as parents, sometimes we have to give ourselves grace to just be vulnerable with them. And that vulnerability goes a long way. I feel blessed that I can be vulnerable around her as she can be vulnerable around me. And to be able to give each other that space and that, presence, like, Robyn said it the best, just being present for each other it goes a long way. And just for the new mommies, I just want to send them a message also that to just be loving to themselves. I remember when I first had Luna, my body changed a lot and I was not used to it. And I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like looking at myself in the mirror. And I had to remind myself every day, like, this is because you wanted her so badly. And it took me a long time to love myself again. And so I just want to give that message to new mommies that, as much as your body changes, as much as you feel down, as much as you feel tired, it will get better. It does get better. And with time, you learn to love yourself again in a new way as a mother. And it takes a while just to be graceful with yourself, to give yourself that time and the gift of time.
Thank you for saying that. And, I have to say, yes, I agree with that because I was that mom that it was like, okay, I would have that kid and it would be like, okay, they were pregnant at the same time and they're back in their normal clothes. I'm not. What's wrong here? And then I had to work twice as hard and everything. And it always did happen. But, it's like, okay, have some grace. And so thank you for bringing that up because, that's not the most important thing in Purple Hearts out to everyone. Purple Hearts, we recognize those that understand. Okay, so also, okay, so I am going to put you in, Lisa. What would you like to share with everybody right now? You're on mute.
Oh, when I listened to Skip's song, I really thought a lot about COVID and how many people I knew lost their lives during COVID season. And I think for me, I realized how much more valuable your true friends really were.
Yeah.
And not just on Mother's Day, but all year long.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you just have to love the people that you have because you really don't know how long you'll have them.
True. And one thing I want to say about that is in our community, I remember when it first happened, and then I did get a couple of phone calls from people saying, okay, goodbye. And it was like, nope, not on our watch. We did not lose anyone in our community to COVID. We did not. And it was all of the volunteers that came in and taught so many things and the support and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to recognize that there were so many we did lose. Yes. And we miss them every day. Yet the power of love and community. And Lisa Brown, you are absolutely so important and such an inspiration to so many within our community. I want to say thank you for that. Christine, what would you like to share?
Real quick, my mother is actually a retired nurse, so and I still have her. So happy Mom's Day to my mom.
Yes.
The thing that comes to mind with the discussion about love is that in my young personhood, I know I didn't recognize my choice of adoption as being an act of love. And when I reunited, I mean, consciously, when Nick found me and I was reflecting on our first conversation, I actually called him the very next morning to tell him that I loved him. It was this big realization that I had that, it must have been an act of love for me to have made that choice. But that came as a 57-year-old, not as a whatever, early 20-something-year-old. So I wanted to share that as well. And then also thirdly, it's really important, I think, for all of us, of course, but it is Mother's Day, but to recognize the significance of the contribution that we do make. So when I watched the video that Skip made and I thought about my ability to now have mother opportunities with Nick, it's like, wow, what a wonderful gift. Someone said earlier, it's a gift not everybody has, and that really struck me well. And I was like, wow, yeah, how lucky am I that I get to do this now?
Well, that is the perfect way for us to end the show. It's all about love. Today's show has been all about love. We love our mothers. We love all of you. Thank you for joining us. Be with us next week. And Kim O'Neill will once again be our host. Until then, happy Mother's Day. Goodbye, everyone. I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.